Hey guys, Daniel here and welcome back to the Finance Channel. Here today I have a news development with Voyager Digital along with my updated price targets. It's been a while since we looked at my 2025 price targets, and it really is quite amazing what I managed to kind of figure out here, and it's really making me want to buy some more Voyager shares, let's just put it that way. So it's been about 2 months now since I made my first Voyager video, and ever since then I've been consistently uploading Voyager videos on any news developments or things that go on with the company. There's one thing that's been very clear in each of those videos. Voyager is an under-the-radar company. No one's looking at Voyager. Everyone's looking at the new Coinbase IPO or the Robinhood IPO. And no one's taken a look at Voyager, and in my opinion, this is going to be the company that just crawls up from underneath and really competes with the Coinbases of the world, with the Robinhoods of the world. And in this video, we have quite an interesting news development. In my opinion, there is something big to be said about YouTube and the role it plays in really getting a stock's name out there and getting people a good understanding of what a stock in a company is. When I started making Voyager videos, I was literally the only person on YouTube talking about Voyager. This was just 2 months ago. And again, the stock price was just kind of around like $5, $6 per share. It went down like 20% after I made that video. Well, things have changed in my opinion, guys. A couple weeks ago, this guy by the name of Meet Kevin, he has around 1.5 million subscribers. He talks all about finance, stocks, news, and he is one of the faces of finance on YouTube. He had Steve Ehrlich, the CEO of Voyager Digital, on his channel on an interview. Hour-and-a-half long interview with over 200, or not over 200, but nearly 200,000 views. This is incredible publicity for the stock, for the product, for the company. And in my opinion, this is kind of what triggered kind of like a set of events. And this, in my opinion, triggered like a wave of YouTube videos to come out. There are so many investors that get their research done on YouTube. I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing, but it's true. And given the fact that this video has over 200,000 views, that is a lot of potential investors and a lot of potential clients or customers for Voyager. Now, this was kind of like the original thing. Next, we had another YouTuber. I'm not sure if you're familiar with him. Financial Education, almost 700,000 subscribers. He has like 3 channels. I think he has like almost 1 million subscribers when you kind of count all 3 of his channels together. But again, this guy talks all about stocks. He's a very well-educated, well-respected person on YouTube. Just today, he made a video on Voyager Digital, and he believes this company will go to a $40 or $100 billion market cap over the next 3 to 5 years here if they execute well. Coming from him, that is a great certification of Voyager, and in my opinion is very rewarding given that I started talking about this thing around 2 months ago. But again, we're starting to see more people talk about Voyager, and this might become a trend that we see going forwards. I mean, Voyager hasn't been on CNBC yet. In my opinion, as they continue to crush it in the coming quarters, I think eventually they're going to have to get onto CNBC. They're going to have to get onto these major news broadcasting channels and really get their names out. I still think they're very underappreciated, and we'll see with my price targets here in a second. But anyways, guys, let's get into these price targets. So first, let's look at the current market cap. Current share price is right around $18.45. Current market cap right around $2.6 billion, given shares outstanding of around 140 million. Now, here is what I did. Let's talk here for a second. When we calculate Voyager's revenue, it really comes from their assets under management, the amount of customer assets that the company holds. Now, this figure was around $500 million back in early January. And since then, that number has grown to almost $2.5 billion since the end of February. Incredible growth. Right? And, you know, in that same time frame back there, they said they expect assets under management to reach $20 billion by 2025. Back then, they thought that number was conservative. They actually said that in a couple interviews. Well, since this massive growth has actually taken place, that number has just become a joke in my opinion. And I think they'll reach $30 to $40 billion in assets under management by 2025. And given the fact that management expects 10% of assets under management to reach revenue By 2025, so, $1 billion in assets under management, $100 million in yearly revenue. They expect that to reach 10%. By 2025, we can calculate a very interesting kind of model and revenue growth model for Voyager. So firstly, let's take a look at essentially $30 billion in assets under management. That would be around $3 billion in revenue. Honestly, I could get a little closer here by doing like 65.5. Yeah, that's better. Then I have gross margin at 70%. This is a highly profitable company. That's what Steve Ehrlich said. It's really going to take the next couple of quarters to showcase that profitability, as they've only just started to really experience rapid growth and major numbers when it comes to revenues. Next, I have operating expenses and taxes sitting at around 35%. I think this is being, a very fair kind of place for operating expenses and taxes. They're not going to have to spend too much money, but again, taxes will come. So this number can really vary. I'm going to have this spreadsheet linked below, and you can actually play around with these numbers, change up the operating expenses, the gross margins, and come up with your own net income margin. There are a lot of good tech companies out there, and the best ones can get net income to anywhere around like 30% of their revenue going down to net income. That's what the best tech companies can do. I think Voyager will be able to do that, so I have their net income margin sitting around 35%. Every $100 that comes in revenue, $35 goes to net income. A very highly profitable business. Then I have a price to earnings ratio of 50. Now, a lot of people can say this is bearish, so we'll bump this up to 100 in a second here. But again, 50, I do not see this thing trading anywhere under a 50, given that Coinbase is trading at like a 30 to 40 price to sales. We're looking at a price to earnings here with Voyager. So you can kind of see how cheap we're really estimating Voyager to be. So anyways, given these numbers, I have a price target of, although this sounds crazy, $375 per share by 2025, upside of 20x, or a compounded annualized growth rate of over 80%, giving them a market cap of a little over $50 billion. This is right in line with what Jeremy from Financial Education said, and I think this is very, very realistic, guys. Now, let's kind of assume that Voyager trades at a higher multiple. Given, the possibility of cryptocurrency getting more mass adoption and people getting kind of normalized to it within the coming years, I think that these companies will be allowed or will continue to trade at higher multiples. So if we assume like 100 price to earnings, that's nuts, guys. $750 per share, or upside of 4,000%. And this is the base case, all right? Let's change this back to a 50 price to earnings ratio, all right? Let's assume that management gets $40 billion in assets under management. I think, again, this is very easily achievable as long as they continue on their way to international expansion, rolling out new products, allowing equities, stocks to be traded on their platform, and as cryptocurrencies gain mass adoption. Very possible in my opinion. So let's see how high we have to go here to get that kind of like $4 billion range. I think we might need around 80%. Yeah, so around like 78% annual revenue growth for them to reach $4 billion in revenue. Then obviously the numbers increase. Net income now at $1.4 billion. Same price to earnings ratio, a price target of $500. And you can kind of see what that translates to percentage-wise. But then you can make an argument. Hey, what if Voyager is growing so quickly that they need a higher price to earnings multiple? So, let's try 70. Bang. Let's try 100. Bang. Guys, this is just incredible. And keep in mind, even though this thing has increased so significantly over the past couple months, shoulda, coulda, woulda. We gotta look at the future, guys. And given these numbers, this is why these YouTubers are so enthusiastic about this company. And it's why I believe so much in their future going forwards. You don't see many companies being able to grow revenue so quickly and grow profitably as well. Once Voyager becomes a profitable company, we're really going to see that switch when it comes to their valuation, when it comes to publicity. I really think that Voyager could become a giant company in the future. Well over $50 billion if they really try. The Canadian market, the European market, those are so huge. and expanding into equities, credit cards. This is just such an exciting company, guys. I can go on and on about this. But anyways, I really have to end it off here. I'm gonna leave this spreadsheet linked below. I'll change it back to a $3 billion revenue run rate with a price to earnings of 50. You can change this, download it, change these numbers up. I really recommend doing that to really kind of gain confidence in a stock. That's one of the ways I gain confidence. Having that price target allows me to have that bullish and really calm mentality whenever stocks drop, because I always see deals. Not red days, I see deals. So anyways, guys, thank you so much for watching. I really appreciate you being here. If you enjoyed this video, make sure to drop a thumbs up. Thanks so much for watching, and have a great day.